daily and their families. Big thank you. Love the products.
And I have energy through the roof.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Okay, we're going to get started and I'll turn it over to you, Janet.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you, Gregory. Hello, everybody. I'm Janet Kiefer. I'm an new Senior Presidential Director with LifeWave. And we welcome you here tonight, here on the last Tuesday of the year. And I'm joined tonight with Executive Director Barbara Larrabee, and we're going to be filling in for Robin Blank-Mascari. We're excited to have you join us. And if you're new with us tonight, you're really in for a treat. The first part of the call, you're going to get to hear amazing stories of how the LifeWave technology rejuvenates us, and often with people with a lot of really serious challenges. Many times when I'm hearing the story, it's like my jaw just drops that, wow, that really happened. Also, we are going to be blessed with the presence of Dr. Barbara Jennings, a chiropractor, functional medicine practitioner, and an expert on how to use these patches. We're going to have time to have questions and answers with her, which you'll be able to ask in the chat. If you don't know, usually down, if you're on a computer, it's the chat button's at the bottom. If you're on your phone, it's on the top. And if you're on an iPad, I don't know where it is. But hold on typing your questions in chat till we get with Dr. Barbara, and so your questions don't get buried that way. So as we start tonight, especially those of you who are new, we always give a little bit of compliance here. We like to let you know that LifeWave products, we are not intended to diagnose or treat or cure any diseases, that they've really been designed to support our bodies in faster recovery and cellular rejuvenation, and one I love, age reversal, because our body's the master healer and knows what to do. So if you're sharing your story tonight, which we'd love to hear from you, we would ask that you be compliant, help us be compliant. Don't name any diseases, okay? So when you're sharing your story, maybe take about 30 or 60 seconds. Tell us briefly, hey, this is what happened before I started, this is what was going on. Briefly tell us what patch or patches you used, and then what happened. Like, oh, I had this horrible shoulder problem. I couldn't rotate it, couldn't lift it. I started to use the X39 patch, and wow, within like 3 weeks, this happened, right? That kind of thing. And since we're not naming diseases, just do your best to kind of give us kind of the broad spectrum there. So facilitating tonight's story sharing is Barbara Larrabee, my friend, my teammate, and a lifelong wellness advocate. If you'd like to share your story, you want to raise your hand with the little icon down below where it says reactions, and Barbara's going to have a chance to call on you. So Barbara, take it away, and I'll rejoin us a little later in the program.
All right. Thank you so much, Janet. And thank you to Robin and Gregory for having me here to share with you all this week, especially this very festive holiday week. It's a great honor to be here with you. And I see that Dr. Velvet has her hand up already. So please go ahead, Dr. Velvet, and unmute and tell us your story.
Well, I thought it was funny that Janet was talking about shoulder, because as a massage therapist for almost 30 years, I like getting in there with my elbow and just rubbing out those knots. But what it caused was a lot of tissue damage in that arm to where I was having a lot of pain, and I didn't share this with anyone. Like, I kind of kept it to myself, and I was really thinking maybe there's something else I need to do. But I continued to patch X39, and just this past week there was that voice that said, just keep doing what you're doing. And I lifted up my arm. I heard the worst crunch, the worst sound I had ever heard in my entire life. And I was able to lift my arm up over my head. And I've been able to move it to the back absolutely pain-free. So I know that sometimes it seems like that it can take a little bit for certain things to go away, but I know that with consistent use, and even Dr. Barber was talking about how those old cells will move into the shoulder and or into a joint space. And I know that's what was doing, is that was helping that and repairing all of that tissue in that arm. So I am happy to say no shoulder pain after 2.5 years of wearing a patch.
I was just going to ask you how long it had been for you.
Yeah,
So
it's coming up on 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we love the one-day miracle stories. We do hear that too, but it's really more about a long-term healing process and what your body can do to regenerate and reverse that problem. So thank you. That's a beautiful share. Absolutely a great lesson to everybody to be patient. Thank you so much. And then we have either Janet Hudson or Bob Hudson or both to share with us. I see your hand up. Please go ahead.
Okay, well, I thought Jenna was talking about me when she talked about shoulder issues. 2 months straight, I had excessive pain, couldn't sleep through the night, and everything else. Started the X39 only on a Monday, and by Thursday night, I could sleep through the night. And of course, 6 months later, I can do it all again too. So there was a tear, and it's gone.
You didn't, Bob, didn't you already have like an x-ray or something that showed that you actually had a tear?
Yeah, it was a physical, it was an MRI that showed that I actually had a tear, 75% tear. And
wow.
They wanted to do surgery, but I didn't want it, so I still don't want it, you know.
Well, you don't need it, right?
And
Thank you.
since we're talking about since we're talking about using the patches for a period of time, I had things go away really quickly. Like I slept better and I had decreased pain in my joints and muscles. But I had the pain that comes from damage to nerves, and one of them was running down my leg, and the other one was in my arms and my legs. Kind of the pain that people with sugar issues will get as they have it over a period of time. I had it without the sugar issues. So I was really looking for some relief for that, but I honestly really never thought it would go away completely. And the one that was running down my leg at 3 months went away. Actually had a little period of where it hurt worse called retracing, as things were working there and some more toxins were given off. It hurt a little worse, and I thought, and then it went away, completely away. It's been gone now for about 15 months. I've not had any pain there. And the other pain in my arms and legs that came out of that nerve damage took about 7 months to go away. And I honestly thought I would live with that for the rest of my life. So to be free of that kind of pain, if anybody knows what nerve pain is like, you know, that's to me, it's a miracle to not be living with that every day.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And that's like a complete reversal of that situation. So very, very wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I don't see any other hands up. Come on, folks. I know we have some great stories out there. All right, Carol Lee, you're next, and then Megan after that.
Hello. I have a quick share that happened late last week. My tooth, I actually don't know what tooth it was, but like my entire inside of my mouth on one side and my jaw were very painful, throbbing. So I've been doing a couple of supplements, but in addition to that, during the day, I put 2 energy enhancers around a glutathione right on that gland, because what do you call that gland that's on your throat that tells you if you're sick? Thyroid? No. Anyway, that gland was also
Thymus?
tender. Pardon?
Is it the thymus? No?
Maybe, whichever one it is that it's sensitive when you're getting sick on the side of your throat. So I put the glutathione there with an energy on each side of it during the day. And at night, I put E on there. And I would say it's been 3 days. Today, I forgot to put the glutathione on it. And it is probably 80% better. I thought for sure I'd have to go make an emergency trip to the dentist. And I think I might be able to skip the dentist. Don't tell anybody. So that's my story.
Thank you so much. That's just wonderful. And yes, dental, it's an amazing thing. It's a little weird to run around town with your patches on, but oh boy, it does start the conversation and it works.
Yes. And of course, X39. I wear that daily, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Carolee. All right, we have Megan next, and then we're going to do Dr. Velvet and Jeannie.
Hey everybody, so I have 2 and I promise I'll make it really quick. So the reason I started these patches was really for my mom. She has issues with her knees and there not being any cartilage there anymore. And we kind of had like a heart-to-heart the other day about like if she feels any different. And she told me that with one of her knees, she doesn't have to hold on to the little nightstand that we have on our porch to get up there, but so like that is like huge progress, so I'm very excited about that. And also one for me yesterday, I have quite a bit of food sensitivities, I would say. And yesterday at the meal, my cousin had me try something new. When it comes to spices, I have to be pretty careful, and I didn't. I just tried it. I was like, let me try. And I noticed like when we got home that I wasn't really feeling well. Came in, I started to feel like I was running a fever, and the first thing I did, I ran for those patches. I didn't take any meds, straight for the patches. And yeah, I woke up this morning. Now, mind you, I had like a whole bunch of patches on by the time it was said and done, but I was feeling so much better by the time I got up. And so yeah, I was very excited that like I don't have to take meds, like I could just put the patches, and I have no shame. I got patches on right now, and I just came back from Best Buy. I got no shame. I walk around with patches on.
Megan, do you remember what patches you were using yesterday to help with your comfort overnight?
So my first thought is I was running a fever, so I did carnosine and energy enhancers on just for the fever. My head was hurting, so I already had an ice wave on. And then I put a Eon on top of the carnosine. And because I thought it was food, when I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning and I still wasn't feeling all that great, and thought, what if it was an allergic reaction? So I went ahead and put a glutathione on my belly, because there's a whole different protocol, but I already had the energy enhancers on, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the glutathione because it's really good for like detoxing you. So yeah, I mean, like I had just about every I even had my Alavita patch on to help me sleep. The only thing I didn't have on was the SP6, X39, X49, but everything else was on.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you got good results like that and woke up ready for the day. And it's just kind of a lesson to our audience, too, that there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's you just kind of work on your own body because we're all very unique. So the company offers suggestions as to where to place the patches when you receive them, but you can use them as indicated on your own body. They're totally safe. So thank you so much. That's a great demonstration for us. Appreciate it. And then I think Dr. Velvet was next again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to give a quick share. I have two sisters that have a condition where the myelin sheath deteriorates and it creates lesions on the brain. So their balance is bad, their eyes go bad. But one of them was really reaching out about 5 months ago saying that the pain was bad, that she didn't want to live like this anymore. And I had already told I told both of them about the patches 2 years ago. But of course, when they're on medicine, a lot of times like, oh, I don't want to do anything to interfere with my medicine, even though you tell them that it doesn't. And so when she called me, she was in tears. And I said, would you at least try the patch? And she said, I'm willing to do anything now. And so I said, okay, I'm sending them. 3 days later, she got the X39 is what we use. And she said that within that first 24 hours, she felt better. She could tell something was going on. Well, she had her doctor's appointment last month. And I told her, I said, no, we're going to do this. We're going to experiment because I have no idea what it's going to do. But I need you to tell me about your blood work when you get it. And she called me. And guys, she absolutely has no more lesions on her brain. And they've taken her off of 50% of her medication. And they said that when she comes in next month, they're going to see what else they can take her off of. That this is absolutely amazing, the progress that she has had. So that's my Christmas miracle. And it's an answer to my prayer because, you know, my sisters are important to me. And I just was so thrilled to know that she's feeling better. And you can tell it every time we talk now, she's a chatterbox and you can tell she feels better. So she's sticking with it. I said, I'll do it. Let me send them. She says, I'm sticking with it.
That's beautiful. That's some heavy duty stuff, folks, with lesions on the brain. And Dr. Velvet, how long did that take from the time she started till she had her new report?
So she had her report last month. So it was 4 months after she started using the X39. And,
okay.
You know, I know that, you know, results are going to be variant for every person. And it's just so happens that, you know, she was able to receive this kind of result for herself. So, you know, definitely not making any claims what it can do, because we just never know what it can do for an individual, right? But I am so blessed and so grateful.
Thank you. That's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And Jeannie has her hand up. We'll call on Jeannie. And then after that, I'm going to turn our call back over to Janet. So Jeannie, can you unmute, please, and go ahead with your story?
Hi, Barbara. How you doing this evening?
Good. Thank you.
Great. Well, I've been working a lot lately, and I've also been doing a lot of health protocols. I've been using the X39 for about over 2 years, but sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. That's part of the detoxing that I was just going to tell you guys about, that I've been doing a lot of detoxing lately, and in the process it got to moving. So that's in addition to the patches. And one day, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the detoxing got so strong, I was just having all these headaches, and I stopped for a moment and I thought, okay, what can I do with the patches? and I couldn't remember the HAP protocol, so I made my own HAP protocol. I put on there's a lot of stuff coming out of my sinuses with the detoxing, so sorry about that. Anyway, I used on the left-hand side and the back, the dark patches for Ice Wave and Energy, and on the front of the head, I used the white patches. Let me get some water here. Anyway, and then I put a X39 on the top of my head, and it was actually early in the day, and I had a bunch of errands to run, so I stuck them on the inside of a hat, and I just wore that hat all day. And by the end of the day, it just made that detox process so much easier. Anyway, mine's short and sweet.
Thank you, Jeannie. That's wonderful. I appreciate it very much, and I'm glad everything's moving out the way you wanted to. Thank you for sharing. And Janet, let me turn the call back over to you so that you can introduce our guest tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your stories. I know that was a wonderful experience for each one of you, as well as so helpful to our audience here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Barbara. And thank you everyone for sharing. We kind of move now to a second part of tonight's call. And we're really blessed by Barbara's tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Barbara Jennings, a holistic practitioner, a functional medicine specialist, and a chiropractor, hailing from Fort Collins, Colorado, where it's probably a little chilly up there tonight, I think, Dr. Barbara. Originally, she was a classical pianist and piano teacher for 17 years, a talent I sure wish I had. And Dr. Barbara decided to become a doctor after overcoming a really life-threatening autoimmune thyroid condition in 1999 with the help of a chiropractor. And from her experience, she became an expert for people struggling with thyroid and autoimmune issues, which I know a lot of us definitely are challenged with. And she really has the ability to work with metabolic issues with a whole lot of natural tools and solutions. One of which is she's an expert in detoxing, since Megan was talking about that and Jeannie was talking about that. And she runs a popular group twice a year. She does have one beginning in January. She'll probably tell us a little bit about it. But Dr. Jennings has been using the patches both personally and in her clinic now since September of 2019. And Dr. Barbara, we're always delighted to hear from you. I have some questions to kick it off, but I'd love you to go ahead and just say hello to everyone tonight.
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year. Before we get going, Dr. Jennings, do you want to tell a little bit about that transition for you and maybe some of the challenges you had and coming in working with the patches?
Which transition is that?
Coming from your autoimmune, working with recovery for your own health, and then finding the LifeWave patches.
Yeah, well, that was in 1999. So unfortunately, I didn't have access to the patches, but I definitely use them now with my patients who are dealing with autoimmune conditions. It's a very, very helpful tool for those people. So, with autoimmune conditions, there's always 3-4 things that you have to address. Diet being one of them, inflammation being one of them, the causes of inflammation. And these patches are such a gift in their power and their ability to help our bodies reduce inflammation in different ways. And this is not just a one way, right? We have multi-pronged approaches and tools to use with these LifeWave patches. So they're an excellent tool. And I started using them in 2019 after I experimented with them myself and with my husband, and I felt better. I didn't have pain. I didn't have any problems, but within a week, I noticed that I just started feeling better and sleeping better. And so then I thought, well, I've got a few patients who know me well enough to try something new, and they had fantastic results. And so we were off and running.
Well, thank you. If I may take kind of the license tonight to ask you a few things. Dr. Jennings is always really wonderful about explaining how the patches work and how to use them and how not to. But can I ask a couple questions, Dr. Jennings, and then we'll open it up for Q&A for the rest of you. So
Sure.
If you have a question for Dr. Barber, go ahead and type it in the chat and we'll ask her from the chat. But let's say, Dr. Jennings, that someone received the X39 patches as a holiday gift here on Christmas. And if we could have you sitting on the couch with us right there, what would you tell them, that person, about the benefits of the X39 and what they were holding?
Right. Well, regardless of their, of their health, like I said, I was pretty healthy when I started using them, but I felt better than I did before. And so most people, I think the reports that we hear the most often are people feel more energy and sleep better. And that's certainly what I noticed after about 5 days. So chances are you'll have more energy, you might sleep better. But between the copper peptide, which these patches or X39 stimulates, you'll have more collagen, right? It stimulates our bodies to make more collagen because that copper peptide is part of building a collagen protein. So all of the benefits that come with collagen, right? People are spending so much money on collagen powder these days. And, the truth is you don't take collagen protein that you drink and just insert it into your collagen. It still has to be digested and dismantled and rearranged into wherever your body needs it. And so it really helps to have these patches, which is stimulating your body with instructions on how to create the building blocks for collagen. So collagen's in your skin, so you can expect to have better skin, but that takes about 3 months to notice a difference. Bones, tendons, ligaments, muscles, all of those things are made of collagen. So improvement in the health and integrity of all of those tissues is common, especially when it comes to healing. Whether I broke my ankle bone healed in about 2/3 the time that was expected. And I see that consistently, whether it's a surgery or a broken bone. Usually takes 6 weeks to heal. Well, mine took about 4 weeks to heal. and the x-ray doesn't even show the scar on the bone. So it healed so well, there's no trace of it anymore on an x-ray.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I've never seen that before. Yeah.
Very, very exciting. Thank you. We can all learn from that depth of really what goes on cellularly. Well, shifting a little bit, the holidays can be kind of a stress for some people. Are there any specific patches that might assist people kind of with the blues, kind of with coping with stress? Anything that might recommend as they go through kind of just all the things that are going on this time of year?
Absolutely. So one of the benefits with X39 is a greater sense of well-being, and that comes from a lot of the chemistry that patch is stimulating in us. But there are other patches that are more specific to stress or specific to mood support, right? So the Eon patch would be probably the go-to for stress. And that has wonderful support for both stress and inflammation. So that is that's probably one that you would want to have on hand and be using daily right now.
Would you recommend Eon at any time of the day or night? Anything specific?
I think it depends on the person and when they feel they need it most. So some people will sleep better when they are wearing it at night. And some people need to feel that calmness during the day. You know, I've had some of my patients who have a tendency towards some panic attacks have wonderful experiences with Eon. So if you're a worrier, then you might want to have some Eon on hand and just put it right here if you're working yourself up into a worry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, going a little bit further, and you as an expert in detoxing, what would you recommend for people who may be indulging in a little bit more sugar and alcohol and holiday treats this year? You know, New Year's is right around the corner. Are there any tips or patches you would recommend through this period of a little more indulgence?
Right. I'm sure nobody's doing that. Right. SP6. SP6 is absolutely fantastic to help reduce sugar cravings. So if a person is trying to reduce sugar or get off sugar, you know, I know in my family, we always do no sugar January, just in case there's some sugar at the holidays. And SP6 is the easiest transition ever to go from, you know, for people trying to cut out sugar. So that one, and then glutathione really helps to detox if you are having alcohol, especially. Increase your glutathione. You can even put that patch over your liver or any of the points in the booklet that it shows. Both of those are very helpful.
Thank you. And I would reiterate the SP6. We had the pleasure of also being with you in Aruba earlier this year. And I don't crave sugar, but I also wear the SP6. And I noticed about day 3 of our wonderful Aruba trip, the dessert cart went by and I was like, ooh, chocolate chip cookies. And then I went, I don't eat chocolate chip cookies. So it made me realize that SP6 was working. That's for sure.
Yes.
Also, do you want to mention at all the program you're going to be offering in January?
Oh, sure. Thanks. It's a great program. I have studied a lot of I've studied detoxification from many different angles, from many different people, and have created it's a 4-month program. So, you know, this is a real detox. And it's a month by month. We focus on the gut, we focus on kidneys, liver, and go up into a cellular level. And it's way more than what a person would typically think of as a detox, doing a 3-day or a 5-day or a week long, right? It's a completely different animal. It's true deep detox with lots of education. I just pour a lot of the things I've learned in the last 15 years into this program, and I love it. The people who do it have seen really great results, from, you know, disease symptoms going away to just feeling better and sleeping better and losing weight and so on. Lots of benefits from this.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you'd like to join me.
If you could put maybe your email in the chat of how to get a hold of you if they're interested, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
So we're going to open up the chat for questions for Dr. Jennings. So just again, we asked, don't talk about specific diseases. Try to keep the question pretty tight because these are being recorded, and we'll do our best to answer your questions, and I'll go ahead and read them, and Dr. Barbara can take over here. Let me scroll back up. Casey said, almost 2 weeks ago, I had what I thought was a reaction to a new food at a party. Upset tummy and then explosive elimination. Yeah, that's no fun, huh, Casey? I ate some crackers, had a banana, drank bone broth, drank plenty of water, but this has continued. I've been wearing the glutathione and X39 patches, then got an over-the-counter something suggestion from my pharmacist, which helped. But I don't want to keep taking it. I feel I should probably call my gastroenterologist. Any patch suggestions before I do this? Thank you.
Well, I think you're doing the right ones. Glutathione, X39. If you want to increase your ability to reduce inflammation and balance things, especially with your immune system, add Eon to that. SP6 also actually supports a lot of different organ functions, so you could add that as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Casey. Juanita asks, what would you recommend for a child who can't sit still and is having trouble focusing in school and gets frustrated easily?
So I would, two things. If you could only do one, it would be the Eon patch. And you could have that child, you know, if they're wearing it to school, put it on the back of their neck. If they're at home, it might be more effective here, but they won't want to wear that at school. Also, if they are able to wear a hat in school, you would want to try the hat protocol with them, which uses the energy enhancer, Eon, and glutathione on your head. And it can be very helpful for those kids.
Dr. Barbara, just a little further with Juanita's question, have you treated some children or school-age children for these kinds of issues in your practice with the patches?
I have. I've worked with a lot of kids with that. And I'll just add that the patches will help, but you really need to address diet with these kids too, right? Sugar is just wreaks havoc with their brain and focus. So there are dietary things that will really help those children.
Right.
And that's a big topic for another day.
Thank you. And Dr. Jennings also treats patients virtually. So if that's something, Juanita, you or someone would like to get in contact with her, she's got her email in here that way. Thank you. Jeff is asking, I've just started using the X39. Great job, Jeff. We're glad you got it. I get a cold, heavy sensation in my belly and notice my workouts are significantly harder and more difficult. Any ideas on what this means?
Cold, heavy sensation. I don't know what that would mean with X39. If your workouts are harder, more difficult, I would think that your body is shifting where it is using energy. When you increase the copper peptide, your body will go to work making more collagen, using it as an antioxidant. It can use it in many different ways. Also, it's going to stimulate your stem cell activity. And when you have more stem cell activity, your body is going to put those to work, repairing and regenerating wherever your body needs it most. And that takes a lot of energy. It takes so much energy that we usually heal while we sleep, right? We're not using energy to move around. All the energy is turned inward. So it is not uncommon for some people to feel tired when they start using X39. I have found that doesn't last, very long. It might last a few weeks. It might last a few days. But if you're new and you're feeling tired, I would actually say, hey, my body is working on things. And that's not a bad thing. It doesn't always feel good to be healing and repairing your body. Sometimes it's tiring.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Barbara, because that's true. It takes energy to heal. That's definitely true. Luis is saying he sat next to a person on Christmas Eve, and she tested positive for the respiratory disease that's been going around. Which patches can he use? Probably for immunity.
So I would use glutathione and X39 primarily.
Okay.
I would also probably use the energy enhancer patches here on the lung points. And if you've got them, use Eon as well.
Dr. Barber, could I have you show the lung points maybe a little slower and right where they are? Because they're one that we use a lot.
Yeah, so you actually find your collarbone and slide off. So you're going to slide off your shoulder and off of your collarbone into that soft spot. So the soft spot, that's generally where you want to put those patches on both sides. Right on the right, tan on the left.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll find that the lung points are really good general points. I may ask Melissa, you got a long question about animals in our time tonight. I need to keep it focused more on the people here questions. But get back with myself or Barbara and we'll try and help you with that for sure that way. Let's see, any other questions? I appreciate the stories. We so appreciate the sharing because honestly, folks, you taking the time to share your stories really helps people, and having the chance with Dr. Barbara, with you to guide us and kind of fine tune us. I know after a lot of these calls, I'll always think, oh, you know, my cousin's got that issue, or my mother's dealing with that, or my daughter's doing that. And so everybody, you just taking your time to share, and Dr. Barbara taking her time. She comes with us monthly, and Dr. Barbara, I can't thank you enough. I've learned so much from you over that. So in closing tonight, we thank also Barbara Larrabee. We thank you who joined us. If you're a guest tonight, get back with the person who invited you. Get your questions answered. They can help you get your patches ordered. They're going to help you know how to get started. We welcome you to come back next Tuesday night. It'll be the first Tuesday of 2024. How did we get this far? Again, on Tuesday night, we will be here. And we also offer, LifeWave offers a wonderful program for getting your patches paid for by sharing the stem cell activation and all these other patches that are helping us detox and come out of pain like that. And if you're like Barbara Larrabee and me, we felt compared to really share this gift of LifeWave. And so just come on board and join us as a brand partner. You're going to learn as you go. We're going to be there to help you. You're going to earn as you go that way. I'd also really like to thank Gregory and Robin Mascari here as we end the year. It's just been a tremendous 2023 for all of us and all of you. Gregory and Robin, we so appreciate your caring and sharing. So we say good night, Happy New Year. Use your glutathione through the holidays.
Yes.
Stay well.
Use your SP6.
Use your SP6. Love that SP6. And again, Dr. Jennings, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Great call.
Thank you
See
for
you
Happy
next time.
New Year, everyone.
Thanks,
Everybody.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Dr. Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.